Hey guys, this is Life with Five. I'm Danielle, and today I'm going to talk about the home birth of baby number five. So I'm a mom of 4 kids already before this birth number five, and all of the births and labors were very normal, easy, natural for me. So we decided to have the fifth one at home. Three of them previously were born at home. One of them was a hospital birth, baby number four, because I had anemia. And so my husband and I decided that since the birth center was 20 minutes out of town, that we felt that we just needed to be at the hospital. My anemia was so low that I almost couldn't even have a birth center birth. Right at the end, it was right on the line, but we decided just to go ahead with a hospital birth because the risk to us wasn't worth it. Anyway, so all of them very normal. Labor started the same. I started out with contractions very early in the morning. I always knew by the cycle of 3 that that was labor, and then I'd have a bloody show and labor would start. Like I said, very normal, very easy pattern. And so for baby number 5, I just assumed that's just the way that I labor. That's just how my body does it. And so for baby number 5, I was waiting around for that again, except it did not happen that way. So let me give you the backstory. I'm a teacher, and we worked up until 10 days before my due date. And I actually thought I would go into labor early since it's baby number 5. My body knows what to do. I'm on my feet all day and super stressed with kindergarten first graders. It's a split class, which was super stressful, but I did it. And so no baby before the due date. Then our due date came, no baby. Then 41 weeks came, no baby. 42 weeks came, no baby. We are like, what is going on? All of my babies have come usually exactly on the due date or a couple days after, not much past that. So with this baby and being number 5, we were shocked. So here comes 42 weeks. We start talking about with our midwife, what can we do naturally to help labor get started? We tried intimate time. That started some contractions, for about a cycle of 3 or 4 of them, and then we just stop, and they were very, very mild contractions. I almost didn't know if they were contractions or what. Like, I could barely even tell. I just knew something was a little bit different. But so that didn't work. And other things, I'd go on walks, I'd go on runs, I'd try to bounce around, I'd do baby dances, nothing's happening. So strange for us. So we start talking about what would we do if it goes past 42 weeks. And 42 weeks is technically officially a post-term baby. And so had I gone with a doctor, they wouldn't have let me go this long, but because I was with a midwife, they let me go longer naturally. But anyway, even with the midwives, at past 42 weeks, we started looking at, well, what do we have to do? We had to check fetal, monitor the heart rate twice a week. I had to go for ultrasounds once a week just to check and make sure that the blood cord flow and everything was good for the baby. Baby size is good. Baby's doing okay. Oxygen wise, and the water around the back and everything looked good, so we just kept going. But the midwives did tell me that at the end of 42 weeks, going on 43 weeks, we would start looking at natural ways to induce labor, that we would look at a breast pump for that nipple stimulation, or for herbs to get labor started. So I'm like 2 days away from that. It's a Wednesday, and I'm just, kind of getting ready for that. So strange, nothing's happening. I did have some contractions start that 42nd week, but they'd come and they'd go. And again, I'd kind of think labor is starting, and then it wouldn't happen. So it just threw me off with baby number 5 completely being different. Needless to say, at the very end, I wasn't even sure that it was happening, because all of the false starts really, I knew it wasn't labor, but I kind of didn't know for sure because it was different. But finally, our anniversary is a Wednesday. At a Friday, we're looking at starting labor naturally with the midwives. But Wednesday's my husband and I's 8-year anniversary. And of course, we had a really good, relaxing time at the movies. Was laughing and crying at the movie. We saw Tarzan, which I cried in that. My husband almost cried too. I would say that it was because I was pregnant, but my husband actually was brought to a little bit of tears too in some of those parts. So anyway, a really good dinner. I ate. I was so full. Came home. Of course, we had intimate time again on our anniversary. And sure enough, that is what started labor. And I wasn't even sure until the very end, but right after we had some intimate time, contractions started almost every 10 minutes. And so I'm thinking, I think this might be labor. But I still wasn't very sure because of all the false starts that I had, and the contractions were very, very mild. So I thought, okay, it's starting, and I started to keep track of them. And then I go to sleep, you know, and then about 2 o'clock in the morning I wake up and I feel like, okay, this is definitely something's happening, because I was very uncomfortable. I was very shaky. I went to go take a bath and get in the bathtub to rest my back, and that's what I do when I have period cramping. So I knew, okay, this is starting. Clem, my husband, was downstairs, and so I called him up to come look at me, because I knew that once he looked at me, he would know that, okay, something's starting. And he comes up, watches me for a while. We're talking excitedly. I go to the bathroom and there's a bloody show. So that tells me, okay, this is how all of my labors have started. It's going. Let's call everyone, call the midwife, tell them, you know, not to come yet, because I don't want to be watched like a hawk, you know, and just kind of that awkward time of, oh, they're just watching me, you know, go into labor. So I told everyone, don't come yet. My mom, Clem's mom, and we called the midwife, told her, you know, don't come yet. We just want to let you know that we think labor's actually starting now. Yay! But the midwife told me, she's like, by what you said to me, you being in the bathtub and your hands shaking, I think you're in transition. It sounds like you're at a 7 or 8. I'm like, no way. No, not at all. It's not even that bad. I'm uncomfortable, but I think it's just starting. This is how my labors start. But I didn't want to be rude, so I told her, you're welcome to come if you want. You know, you're welcome to come. I'm not going to stop you, but I'm just going to rest up and try to go back to sleep. Sure enough, an hour after that phone call, I had the baby. So she was so right on. I must have been at a 7 or 8. I had no idea, because this labor, the contractions were not that hard. They were not that difficult to get through, and so I just assumed that it's starting. Sure enough, though, she actually missed the birth, and it was the other 2 midwives that made it on time. I think they lived a little bit closer. I think she was like 45 minutes away from me. But yeah, my mom missed it. My mom lives 3 hours away. She missed the birth. The only one that was there were 2 midwives and Clem's mom, and we'd planned on having a water birth, but lo and behold, I was getting in the tub and it was filled like maybe this much, and I got in the tub, I pushed once with like a grunt, I pushed twice, I felt the water pop on that second push. Third push, the baby's head was out, and I'm telling people, come. Clem and the midwives, because they weren't even there. They didn't even realize that the baby was coming that fast. And it was amazing. It was quick. It happened really just perfectly. On our anniversary night, labor started, but the baby waited till the very next day to have his own birthday. He was born at 4:07 in the morning, the next day after our anniversary. And it was perfect because it was night. We had always been worried and stressing about who's going to watch the other kids, because there's 4 of them. It's a big handful to ask any of our friends, and the only people we felt we could ask were Clem's parents, and they said that they might not be able to this time because they had to work. So we didn't know who we would give the kids to. Anyway, it worked out because they were here and they slept through it. Sonia, my 3-year-old, woke up right at the very end, and Toti came in, and he's 7, and he woke up. He met the baby after the baby was born. He went to sleep, and then he woke up again later, and he had forgotten. He even woke up and met the baby, so he got to meet the baby for a second time. It was pretty cool. And then so he was asleep by me the whole time they did the postnatal exam and checking me out and everything. And so it was just a very quick birth, very crazy birth. And anyway, I just wanted to ask you guys, did you have a home birth? Are you curious about home births? If you did choose a home birth, who in your life supported you and encouraged you? I know there's a lot of people that don't support you or really tell horror stories about it that really are discouraging. And so if you have had a home birth, who is your biggest supporter? For me, my mom, none of my family supported me, and it was so sad because I wanted to share with them the news that's happening at each appointment, and every time I would be bombarded with news on just all these negative things, how they were worried, and it just really brought me down. I felt like my first pregnancy I couldn't really enjoy. Even a little bit with my second pregnancy, but by the time I had my second baby, my mom was actually there and saw the whole thing, the birth at home, and I feel like that really is what got her on board, to see how natural and healthy I was, and just all the mother-centered care that I received. And so after that, she was way on board, and she would even talk to her friends about our birth. So I feel like that was a blessing, huge blessing, so that the babies after that I could really enjoy with her and share with her that time. So who encouraged you? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it and check out the links to my other videos.